Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Ignore the extra fallout. I decided to put setting spray on before I brushed away. So yeah. Anyway, welcome to the channel. My name is Aiden. I'm so happy that you are here. Today I am doing a video on highlighting palettes. I went through several of my highlighting palettes in my collection. I wore every shade in them, and I just wanted to come on here and talk about them, declutter some of them because there's some of them that I was just like, this is too much, or I just don't really like the shades on me. So yeah, I have 11 highlighting duos, trios, up to 6-pan. Before I start swatching though, if you haven't already subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. And leave me a comment. Have you tried any of these highlighters? Are you still wearing highlighter? What is your favorite highlighter? Let me know all of that down below. I'm not wearing any of them today. Today I'm wearing the ColourPop Barbie highlighter. Went a little different with my makeup. It's a little darker than I was expecting, but it is what it is. So to explain kind of what's going on with these palettes, I grabbed out a whole bunch of my palettes. I actually have more of them, but I ran out of days to like do this, and I don't want to track these all across the country to finish it up. So these are not all of the highlighter palettes that I own or that I haven't done in a 4for4. These are just a whole bunch of them. I have 45 different highlighters in total. So 45 days I've been doing a different highlighter every single day. You're going to see a whole bunch of different shades. You're going to see different brands and different finishes. There's just a little bit of everything, but I was just like, I want to try every one that I can. I should have started this earlier in the summer. Probably could have gotten through them all, but didn't quite make it. We will be doing another one of these next year sometime. I'm going to start with this one from Bellapierre. This is the Glowing Palette, and I got this in a BoxyCharm, or I might have bought a BoxyCharm because I wanted something in it, you know, like you can buy in their charm shop, or not their charm shop, the pop-up or whatever it's called. Anyway, I think that's how I got it. Like I bought a box and this was one of the items in it. So inside you have 6 highlighters. You have a wide range of shades. Obviously, like some of them are way too dark for me, but some of the other ones work out okay. I'm going to swatch the top row first so you can kind of get an idea. They do have some pretty finishes in here. Like the colors are really, the shimmer is really nice on them. They blend in pretty well. My main issue with this particular palette obviously is that some of these shades just don't work for my skin tone, and yeah, there's several of them. Like this one in the middle is a little too dark. This one definitely is too dark. Even the peachy pink one is a little too dark. I could use it as a blush topper, but I don't really like top my blush other than like what I have is with highlighters, so I just go up around the cheek, but then I bring it up a little into the temples, do on my Cupid's bow and the like. So this palette, while I don't think it is a terrible palette, I would not say it's a bad palette by any means. I just don't know who this would suit unless you don't have a lot of makeup and you want to double up and use these as eyeshadows and stuff. Like you could use these as eyeshadows, but I have so many things. I'm not going to be reaching into a highlighter palette to use as a eyeshadow. I am definitely decluttering this palette because it just doesn't work for my skin tone. Next up we have from Urban Decay. This is the Afterglow palette, and I don't remember when this one in particular came out. This is a 4-pan, so you got some shades in here, and I was really nervous about this because I was like, these are not going to look good on my skin. They're not going to they're going to be too dark. They're not going to really work. And I have to say I was kind of surprised because like the pink blended in really well. I don't even know if you can see the pink on there. Let's see. Like it's so subtle. Like there's just a sheen there. I really like even this medium shade. So there's only one that's a little too deep that I can't get away with. So I'm actually going to keep this one. This was one that I was totally planning to declutter. I was already all set to declutter it, and it was like, no, you know what? Actually, I kind of like the shades in here, so I'm going to keep it around. I'm going to continue using it. It passed the test. This is from the Academy of Color. I always want to say Color Academy, but it's the Academy of Color. I picked this one up at Kohl's. I had to think of where I picked it up. And they had a whole bunch of these palettes at one time, and they were like $12.99, $10.99 for the eyeshadows. And as you can see, like they are almost like a baked formula. They are very metallic, just very in your face. You have some crazy colors. So I find that there are shadows that look like they kind of blend in and they could look like your skin was glowing even though you can tell that the makeup. And then there are highlighters that are so blinding, so metallic that people know that you just stuck that on. And that's these. These are very opaque. It takes some work to blend them in, but they are just so wham, in your face. They are blinding. If you like this type of a formula, this is a great palette for that. This isn't what I go for though. Those are not the types of shades that I normally and finishes that I go with. So the Academy of Color is going to be decluttered just because it's overwhelming. It is too much for me. It is not one that I'm really going to be reaching for. Yeah, so yes, it is being decluttered. Next up, we have Cover FX, and this is the Perfect Highlighting Palette. Where did I get this one? I must have bought this one on sale. I feel like this was a sale at Ulta. I want to say this is like an after Christmas special. So as you can see, like kind of similar in shades to the Bellapierre. You got a similar color story going on there. Similar to the Bellapierre, this is just not a good palette for one person. I feel like if you share with like your kids and you have different skin tones, maybe that, or if you're a makeup artist and you need a lot of different tones, I think that would be great. But like, look at this. The pink is okay. That one works. This white one has almost like a blue shift to it, which is kind of cool. Then like these two down here, I can kind of get away with. This one, the middle one especially, but you know, but there's so many that are just too much for me. So I'm going to declutter this one. The formula on this one is okay. It's a little chunky. I don't feel like it's like, I feel like you need to put a lot of work into it. So yeah, Cover FX is not my favorite formula, not my favorite palette, definitely being decluttered. This is the last of the 6-pan palettes that I have. This is the Aurora palette by ABH or Anastasia Beverly Hills. This one is kind of crazy. It has definite shades to it. These are not meant to look natural, that is for sure for the most part. They have some interesting shifts to them. This formula though, oh my goodness, I have to say ABH has some of the most amazing formulas. Those are the first three. Even like that blue, like it doesn't look too dark on my skin. It just kind of looks like I'm slightly ill or something. It's weird. All right, and so there are the 6 of them all together. You have the 2 that are very light that you could wear every day and kind of get away with it. You have a blue and a purple, which are just interesting. They don't look quite too dark on my skin, actually. It just looks like I'm experimenting with color. The yellow is really cool. I like the yellow. And the orange even, it's a little dark for me, but I still can get away with it. I was totally planning to declutter this palette. This was one that I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to be going because I never wear these type of things. But then I played with them and wore them. I was like, they are so pretty. I need to keep this one. So this one is staying in my collection, much to my amazement. That's also part of the reason why I did this, these type of videos, is because I feel like sometimes things surprise you, something that you think you really enjoy. When you actually play with it, you're like, oh, I don't like that as much. And then some things that you're like, oh, I need to get rid of that. You're like, oh, this is really good. I need to use this. So I don't want to ever declutter something that I've never tried or that I haven't thought about, like I haven't tried recently, because things surprise you. Okay, next up we have Tarte. This is the it's Rainforest of the Sea, but this is the Skin Twinkle Volume 2. And the original one has like a banana powder in it, but this one has 4 shades. So you have like light to dark. Yes, I caught my nail in the second pan. I'm still upset at myself for doing that. A little bit more awkward packaging because it is an actual compact as opposed to a lot of these are just cardboard packaging. Lots of fallout with these. I think I dug in a little too deep. Or it's just getting old. It could be that this formula is getting old. This is the first palette that I got from Tarte in terms of highlighter. Once I got this one, I went back and I bought the version 1. I think this one came in BoxyCharm. BoxyCharm was really killing it a while ago, and then they just kind of petered out. But once you blend them out, they look really pretty on the skin. They do have like an immense highlight to them, but they still like blend in. They're not as in your face as the ones from Academy of Color. There we go. And all of the shades kind of work. They're a little dark in some lights, but they do reflect and they don't look terrible on my skin. So this is one that I wasn't planning to declutter, and it was reaffirmed. Like, I still really enjoy this palette, so it's staying. All right, next up is the Flower Beauty Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette. This did come with a brush, which I have already decluttered. If you love this palette, you might want to skip ahead. So you do have 3 shades in here, and I find that these are very much like the Academy of Color, very in your face. They are very strobe-like and just not the type of highlighters that I really enjoy. They're just too obvious on the skin, just a little too, I don't really enjoy this look on my skin. So yeah, I'm decluttering the Flower Beauty. This one is the light one. I think they've done a couple of them. This was the first one that they did. It's not that it's a bad palette. It's just it's not my style or what I normally really enjoy wearing. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that's probably upsetting some people. Next up, we have the Elevation palette from Pure. I picked this one up at Kohl's. I want to say like it was by the register, and it just pulled me in because it looked pretty, and I really liked that middle shade, how it's like marbled, and I was like, oh, I just want to try it. The other one I got at Walmart, and it took me forever because not all Walmarts were carrying Flower Beauty back then, and that was the only place it was really hard to find when I got it. So it hurts that it was one that I didn't love. Now, this Elevation palette from Pure is the exact opposite. I feel like these are just too powdery. They don't have enough of a shimmer. They're just very blah to me. They kind of catch the light a little bit, but I just didn't like the way they looked. They looked too powdery. I needed something in between these two in terms of a glow. So this one is also being decluttered. Yeah, just decluttering a lot, which is kind of crazy. Then I have another from Pure. This is the Quick Pro Portables On The Go Highlighter Palette. There was also an eyeshadow palette that was in the same, like they came as a set, I believe. And you have 3 highlighters in here. And these shades, I mean, they don't work for me, unfortunately. Plus they're very, I mean, like that middle one didn't pick up like at all. It's almost feels like an eyeshadow topper or something. Yeah, just lackluster. I don't think anybody would even want this palette. Lighting's not great. I apologize for that. And when I get close enough to the camera that you can see it, let's try to get just the light. Yeah, you can kind of see them. They're just, you can see the difference in there, but yeah, that other Pure palette is not good. I would not recommend it. I would never like purchase another one. And since I didn't say, this one's definitely being decluttered. Like it is leaving the collection. Next up, we have from Vintage by Jessica Libeskind. This came in a BoxyCharm too. This is an illuminating face highlighter set. It is Rose Quartz and Chocolate Diamond. These shades look kind of intimidating. Like they look a little dark for my skin tone. But actually, I found that these worked really well. I was kind of shocked about it because I wasn't expecting them to work, but they're not too terribly deep when you get them on the skin, and they have a nice highlight. They're not, I tend to go a little darker with my highlights. I don't want just like a white highlight because I am very pale. So I will play with shades a little bit more so than somebody who might be a little deeper toned and wants something that's lighter on their face. I kind of, unless I really want a very certain type of a highlighter, I do experiment with depths, like how deep this highlighter is. So these two work for me. I enjoy them. The quality of this is very nice. They're very pretty highlighters, and yeah, I enjoy them. So they are staying in my collection. Here's one that I thought I might declutter, but it's staying. Final palette. This is the ABH Glow Kit, and this is Sweets. This one, I want to say it was like a Macy's exclusive at one point. I think they brought it back, but you have 4 shades in here. I love the names. You have Marshmallow, Sassy Grape, Butterscotch, and Taffy. Definitely sweets type names. And I know it doesn't look like I've used this one very much, but I have used this one. This is a palette that I have used quite a bit. And there are the shades. This is one that you could easily depot the way that they are put in there. You could put them in a Z palette. So I could like pass along Taffy, but keep the other 3 because the other 3 are closer. I love Marshmallow. Marshmallow has like kind of a goldenness to it. And Sassy Grape is my favorite. That purple, I don't know. I just love that slightly pinky purple. It's very different. Let me move that light again so they catch a little better. That pinky purple is just really pretty. I like Butterscotch. It's a little dark. It's not one that I normally would go for a whole bunch, but the only one that's a little too dark is Taffy, but I will use that one kind of as a blush topper, even though I don't like blush toppers. It's not really my jam, but definitely a palette that I knew I was going to keep going into it because I've enjoyed it so much since I got it. It was I think this might be the first highlighter palette I ever bought. One of the earliest forms of highlighter that I owned. So yeah, I absolutely love it. So I had 11 highlighter palettes when I started. I'm decluttering 6 of them. I cannot believe that I'm decluttering 6 palettes out of 11. That's over 50%. This is probably the most ruthless declutter that I've ever had. I knew there was one missing I had to grab. So the ones that I kept, the Afterglow by Urban Decay, this is one that I was not expecting to keep. This is one that I was definitely planning to declutter, but it's staying. Jessica Libeskind Vintage by Jessica Libeskind. Was kind of planning to declutter this one because of the shades, but really enjoyed it. Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Skin Twinkle Volume 2. This is one that I knew that I thought I was going to end up keeping, and it's probably the least good of all of the ones that I'm keeping, but I still enjoy it. One I was planning to declutter, Aurora, was planning because of those colors, but really enjoyed it. Had fun playing with that. And then one that I knew that I was going to keep was the Glow, was Sweets by ABH. Really enjoyed that one. So really surprising. This is why I always test before, because then we're looking at these. Which ones would I have kept? Bellapierre, I was never crazy about this palette, so this one I'm not surprised at decluttering. The Strobe and Glow, I kind of thought I would have kept because they are such in-your-face highlighters, but I didn't really enjoy that on my skin, so this is one that I'm surprised that I decided to declutter. Same with the Flower, because this took so long to get. Everybody raves about it, and I didn't love it on my skin, but I was not expecting to declutter it for sure. The Pure palettes, I am not surprised. They're not the best. I have a love-hate with Pure. I really like some of their stuff. There's some other stuff that I just think is super mediocre, not great. These are on the not great, mediocre side. So, and then Cover FX, I don't know if I should be surprised about this one or not. I don't think it's the best shades for me, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so there was some surprises in this. There were some that I was definitely planning to keep, and I'm surprised they're leaving. Let me know if you've tried any of these. Let me know what your favorite highlighter is. Let me know what your favorite highlighter palette is. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye.